It was you. The only person I never heard was you. Oh boy. Nope. Mark usually doesn't speak, ever. With that said, he was definitely mixing music before the blackout occurred. He must have been watching my game with Kai too, because I remember his music becoming more frantic after Kai gained the upper hand. That means he must have been at his DJ pad, which is on the opposite side of the room to the vent. Well, it wasn't me. It wasn't Cass, I remember that much. No.
It has to be you!
The killer is Ava.
Didn't see this one coming.
Huh?
Ava's the only one whose position I can't account for. Mark was mixing a track at the time Kai and I were playing a game, so I know he must have been stationed at his pad. And everyone else? I remember hearing their voices over the sound of the game. Everyone. Except Ava. In fact, last I saw her, she was standing in the corner of the room with the vent.
So Ava flipped the vent?
Oh man! And the reason no one heard it is because the music was too loud!
Don't blame me. I was just doing what I was told.
No one's blaming you. We're all in on Eva.
Care to contribute anything, Eva?
I didn't flip the vent.
Well, Damon says you did.
Damon says a lot of things.
It's true.
While you aren't technically wrong, I don't think that counts as an argument.
His theory is full of plot holes. He just refuses to point them out.
What plot holes?
The cord.
What?
In retrospect, you were so quick to accuse me that you overlooked a huge problem with the cord. If I'm the killer, how did I dispose of it?
Trick question. You left the cord tied to the vent.
What then? It unraveled by itself and fell into the water?
Yeah, you got me there.
How did Eva get rid of the cord? I'm sure it's possible if you need to untie it at the right time.
I got it! To dispose of the cord, you just untied it during the blackout.
She untied the knot during a blackout?
Being the one who set up the trap, Ava could have easily practiced untying the knot in advance, or she just made it a really simple knot. Either way, it wouldn't be any more difficult than untying your shoelaces with your eyes closed.
If Ava untied the cord, did it also fall into the water?
Diana's testimony says as much.
It does?
During your confrontation with Wolfgang, you recounted hearing certain sounds.
I'm not like you. I'll never be like you. I won't give up until the world knows. I won't give up until I'm known as... All of a sudden everything turned white. Everything in front of me except Wolfgang. In those few seconds he became pitch black. And then so did everything else.
The first sound was obviously the battery exploding. And the second, when you first recounted the story, You said it was the sound of the knife hitting the water. But why would a thin knife make such a big splash?
Then, do you think...
What really caused that sound was probably the extension cord falling into the water.
When you say it that way, it does seem likelier.
I should have known. The kid who lied about her talents and tried to lie about the Tozy trinkets. I should have known. I should have known only Eva fucking Sadaka would tell Wolfgang!
You're right that Eva's lied to us several times already.
But she's just a mathlete. How did someone like her come up with something this complicated?
Her talent would give her the upper hand in all that measurement nonsense.
Even so, the sheer volume of items Eva had to steal. She's been under heavy suspicion these past few days. How did she sneak into Jet and Desmond's rooms without being noticed?
It's impossible. Wolfgang even got mad at me for being late to the dining hall by a few minutes. I've been watched the entire time I've been here. There's no way Jet wouldn't have noticed me taking his battery.
Right on! No one steals from me!
They already did.
And anyway, how could I enter the cord through the boiler room vent when I can't even reach the top of the generator? If anything, you should be suspicious of the taller students.
I understand why people are doubtful, but I can't let the conversation continue like this. Eva did in fact have a way to reach the vent. All she had to use...
I'm not tall enough to reach that high.
Ava grabbed one of the boxes on the concrete platform and placed it next to the generator.
That's setting myself up. Removing a box would reduce the amount of boxes on the platform from 3 to 2.
Flexing your mathematical prowess, I see.
I'm saying Damon would have noticed if a box was missing, since there's so few of them to start with. But he never noticed anything, because there were just as many boxes as there were last time.
Couldn't you just move the box back after using it?
Then the underside of the box would be wet, which it wasn't.
This I can confirm. My notes on the box's exteriors mention nothing about watermarks.
Damn it, Damon, what were you thinking? Well, what else even is there?
I'm not...
This is it.
Ava, to reach the top of the generator, you simply stood on one of the boxes in the boiler room. There's already a huge pile of them near the generator itself. You could easily push one up against the machine.
Ah, she would have known about those boxes in advance, too, since she explored the boiler room with you ahead of time.
Wrong set of boxes.
Okay, I could have used the boxes to reach the top of the generator. And I could have fit the cord through both vents if I inserted the right plug. I can do both of those things without attracting suspicion. What I can't do without attracting suspicion is opening the vent.
Eh?
Which vent are we talking about?
The dining hall one. Based on what Damon's saying, it needs to be opened for the killer's trap to work. But opening it during the tournament is asking to be caught, and opening it before the tournament is useless because Jet, Cassidy, and Mark would see it while setting up.
Oh yeah, you're right. If there was an open vent with a cord tied to it, I would have noticed for sure.
Now that Eva mentions it, I'm pretty sure the vent was closed during setup.
The vent was closed?
See, there's no way I can execute this trap without being caught. It's a stupid trap anyway. All the cord and vent stuff is too complicated. There's a billion ways it could go wrong. Damon's just making stuff up. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
What the? That's bullshit!
Can it, you four-eyed troll! You can't talk your way out of this one! The only person who would be sick-minded enough to kill Wolfgang is you, and only you! Don't you fucking try and tell me otherwise!
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord, with a special knot which can untie by itself. After a bit of time passes.
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence? No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament, and now you're saying I'm a killer.
Never mind what was said before. Focus on the facts. I just need to focus.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Let's see.
Wah.
Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord, with a special knot which can untie by itself. After a bit of time passes.
Less evidence for that!
Evidence? No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game.
No, that's wrong! No. It's no coincidence you were at the game tournament.
And she wasn't even on the bracket.
In fact, it's not even a coincidence the tournament took place during the murder.
What do you mean?
It was impossible for me to notice this earlier. But the killer timed the tournament so it would grant them an alibi for the murder.
She is the one that came up with the time.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Are you accusing me of murder again? I thought you said Ava was the culprit.
The detective isn't supposed to switch suspects in the last stretch like this. You're totally throwing the audience for a loop, and not in a good way.
Except neither of you played a role in determining what time the tournament would be held. The only person to determine that was Ava.
It's true. When I was training my talent, I did most of my studying at 9 AM. The brain is most active and ready to absorb information around that time. I think this effect could help our video game skills. 9 AM tourney, huh? Wouldn't be the first time. Screw it, let's do 9 AM. 1 hour after the morning announcement.
Ava knew she would be in the dining hall tomorrow. So when Cassidy announced the tournament, she realized it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to create an alibi for herself.
That's insane. How could she have come up with something like that on the spot?
It wasn't just for an alibi either. Since Ava knew about the tournament, she could time the setup of her trap accordingly.
So, to answer her question of why neither Cassidy, Jet, nor Mark noticed the open vent, when I think back on what Cassidy told me earlier today, before the tournament began, I can discern exactly when Eva opened the vent.
I got it! Cassidy, you told me Ava approached you yesterday and asked to help set up the tournament. What exactly did she say?
When did I tell you this again?
Before the tournament?
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, Eva wanted to see what sort of equipment the tournament needed. After I showed her Mark's stuff and told her we were redecorating the dining hall, she offered to help.
Back when this conversation happened, you still hadn't decided what time you were going to start redecorating, right?
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. Eva really helped me out, though. She said she would stack the dining hall furniture we weren't going to use later that night. Afterwards, we could focus purely on arranging the technical stuff in the morning.
Alright, then tell me what happened last night.
Jet, Mark, Eva, and I came to the dining hall at around 8:40 p.m. probably. We stacked the table and the dining chairs against the left wall, and the sofas we moved to the middle of the room, maybe a little more to the right. Then we all went back to our dorms. Well, I was kind of hungry, so I stayed back a few minutes before leaving.
Hold the phone! If those sofa chairs were moved to the middle of the room, why did I see one over in the corner this morning?
'Cause Eva pushed it there.
Eva what?
She didn't want to take part in the tournament. Just watch it from the side. That's what she told me. I never thought it was weird or anything. Some people just like sticking to the walls of rooms, you know?
We're talking about the sofa in the upper left corner, aye? The one next to the coffee table.
The one by the vent, yes.
Yes, sirree, Bob.
Yo, when the power went out, I'm pretty sure Damon ran over to that corner to look through. Yeah, a vent!
Did she move the chair there so it would be easier to reach the vent later?
Why would I when Cassidy just said the vent was closed during setup?
Because you were covering for yourself in advance.
Huh?
The vent may not have been open at the time, but I'm willing to bet that's because you were still creating your trap.
In what way?
Let's say Ava took a detour for the boiler room first, and slid the internal plug through both vents. After going upstairs and helping rearrange the dining hall furniture, during which she moves a sofa chair so it obscures the vent, she heads outside and hides until everyone else goes to bed. Then, she walks back in and opens the vent.
So Eva took complete advantage of them?
Not my fault those two are so trusting.
You think a big guy like me was gonna be afraid of some mathlete? No way!
I mean, she did lie about a lot of important things. Her talent being one of them.
She also cried and fled the scene after we found out, no?
I just thought it was cool. She wanted to help me out.
Hey, can we backtrack a little? Like, to before all this Ava talk?
Why? What happened?
It's to do with the chair's position.
The chair?
You guys keep saying it was in front of the vent, but Damon stood in front of the vent during the blackout. If the chair was in the position you all say it was, it should have blocked him from crouching in front of the vent.
I noticed that.
Ava probably just moved it during the blackout.
Eh?
Before the blackout, it was positioned with its back to the left wall. However, when I ran over to the vent, the chair was suddenly pushed up against the northern wall, out of the vent's range. Ava must have shifted the chair while everyone was initially panicking from the blackout. I'm guessing she hoped people would misremember its position and think it was always along the northern wall.
Oh man! So I totally fell for it?
I didn't notice that.
I also remember seeing a speaker in that corner.
Might need to go back and relook at the footage.
Yeah, about that. This morning, Jet, Mark, and I arrived at the dining hall a little after 8 a.m., then Eva came a few minutes later. She helped us put together Mark's equipment, which was stationed in the lower right corner of the room. And then she volunteered to place speakers around the room while Jet and I set up the TV next to the fireplace.
Moving a speaker near the vent. Did Eva do that to drown out Diana and Wolfgang's scuffle?
Yeah, and in turn exacerbate the effects of the other speakers. There were almost a dozen spread throughout the dining hall. Some even sandwiched into corners they didn't need to be. Eva probably placed them that way to cover as much ground as possible.
Still. Eva entered the dining hall at 8:10 a.m., right? So wouldn't it be impossible for her to knock out Lawyer Man at 8:15 a.m.?
According to Eva, she arrived around 8:10 a.m. But it's possible she actually arrived much later. Since there's no clock in the dining hall, he just couldn't have known. In fact, that might be why Eva seemed so eager to arrange Mark's equipment in the morning. Upon realizing it had a clock, she wanted to ensure it would only be powered on after she arrived.
It seems the setup of this trap occurred across 3 phases. Phase 1 took place in the boiler room and involved tying a lithium battery to an extension cord. The cord was then slid through the grates of the closed boiler room vent, presumably until it almost poked out the other end of the ventilation shaft. Phase 2, by contrast, was carried out in the dining hall. The aforementioned cord was tied around the dining hall vent, which was then left open. This must have happened after Cassidy, Mark, and Jet were already done redecorating. For the third and final phase, the battery was carefully suspended over the generator. All these steps combined created a pulley system, which could only be triggered by closing the dining hall vent. Is there anything I'm missing?
How I closed the vent.
Huh?
No one has explained how I closed the dining hall vent. Obviously, I didn't do it during the blackout. According to Damon, the blackout can only happen after the vent is closed. So, I must have stood up, gone behind the chair, and closed the vent during the tournament. That's stupid. Someone is definitely going to notice that sort of conspicuous movement. It doesn't matter if that someone is on the opposite side of the room. They're going to notice.
How did we overlook such an obvious discrepancy?
Eva's right. Standing up would look really suspicious. Which is exactly why she used that to circumvent the problem.
Hey, the tournament equipment is in.
What am I doing?
This is it. The location of your chair bypasses this problem entirely. Towards the vent, all you need to do is set the chair to recline and reach behind you.
Set the chair to recline?
All the dining hall chairs have the ability to recline. Some were already set to that position at the start of the tournament, including Eva's. With her chair in recline, Eva can easily reach down and close the vent without shifting from her position. It's not perfectly inconspicuous, but it's subtle enough to not catch most people's attention, especially those focused on watching a video game competition. Well, am I wrong?
This isn't funny. Just because I was sitting in front of the vent doesn't mean I was the one who triggered the mechanism.
No one can sneak up behind you without drawing attention, especially when all the lights were still on.
That's just dumb! Where I was sitting shouldn't make me a murderer.
Even so, with everything we've spoken about...
Everything? Did you already forget what was said earlier? Just look at all the items I would need to set up this murder. The battery, the extension cord, the rolling pin, the taser, the syringe, and the supposed drug used with it. How could I have collected all of those things? Wolfgang and everyone else hated me because I lied about my talent. They were on their guard whenever I was around. You think Jet and Desmond would just let me walk into their rooms and take their stuff?
That's true. We still haven't explained how she robbed 2 people's rooms without being caught.
Unless you can prove I had the chance to get all this stuff, you can't make me out to be the killer.
Fine. I'll show proof. Only you could obtain the items necessary for this murder.
Do what?
I got it.
Ava, you were well aware of the existence of those items. For starters, everyone heard about Jet's battery. It was common knowledge due to his boasting.
Wait, so it's all my fault? Ouch.
Since the dorms aren't locked, you could have easily snuck in and grabbed the battery while no one was inside. The battery is lightweight too, so you wouldn't have trouble carrying it. For the rest of your plan, the syringe and drugs are both readily available in the pharmacy. And as for the taser, you may not have known about its existence right away, but you still had every incentive to search Desmond's room, because you received his blackmail.
Eva? You knew my blackmail this whole time and never said anything?
So what?
Huh?
So what if I knew? I wasn't the only one. Damon knew your blackmail as well.
Oh, yeah. He read it out loud to everyone earlier, didn't he?
Damon knew almost everything I did. He knew where the items used in this murder were stored. He knew the layout of the boiler room and the storage closets. He knew all sorts of things. The only thing he didn't know is the one thing more important than any piece of physical evidence.
The hell are you talking about?
See, you still don't know. You still don't know that we never saw eye to eye.
Huh?
Eye to eye... on the not killing each other stuff?
On Wolfgang. Damon saw the way Wolfgang scolded me and treated me like a bad guy, and he thought I hated him the same way he did. But unlike Damon, I never wanted Wolfgang to die.
What the?
Whoa! That's a loaded accusation!
Not a first for this trial.
If you thought you saw the worst of Damon after the dummy trial, you underestimate just how low he can stoop. I practically risked my life pretending to be his ally. But in return, he let me see the extent of his deceitfulness. Which is why I can tell everyone that Damon has Wolfgang's blackmail.
Well, I saw this one coming, at least.
Oh, gosh.
Eva, you...
Any reason you didn't tell us this earlier?
Well, I didn't think it was incriminating at first.
Not even when he refused to come forward about it?
That was weird, but I didn't want to make accusations at the time because it could have just been his ego talking. Only after watching him reject the taser gun over this dumb mechanism he made up did I realize I had potential evidence on my hands.
Damon, do you have your blackmail on you? Don't worry about reading it out loud or anything. Just show the image. That's all you gotta do.
Did Eva really never trust me? Why then did she disclose so much to me? Why did she tell me? It's because I trust you. No, this can't be at the forefront of my mind right now. I'm on the cusp of bringing this case to a close. What Eva thinks about me shouldn't matter. What she thinks about me... You took my side way back at the beginning, remember? We were the only people who refused to listen to that lawyer, and you helped solve the mystery behind that whole case. No one thanked you, though. I'm really sorry about how things turned out. The other students wouldn't have treated you unfairly if it wasn't for me. Damn it. Damn it! This entire time I've been judging the others for how trusting they are, not even realizing I was blindly following the words of a stranger. And now everyone here, they're gonna hold this blackmail crap against me, even more than if I'd just come forward earlier. Even so, what choice do I have? None will let the discussion continue unless I tell the truth.
Fine. I'll show it. But only the picture. As requested.
Those words, I retrieved the envelope from my pocket. And pulled out the photo.
He's married?
Ingrid, Wolfgang doesn't have blue eyes.
So, who is this then? His parents?
I mean, why else would the guy look like him?
Given the year this photo was taken, these two people must be his parents. Look at what's printed at the bottom. April 17th, 2001. We know how old Wolfgang is because of the student reports. In 2001, he wasn't even born yet.
But why his parents? Are they being held against their will?
You can't leave us hanging, Damo! You gotta read out what it says!
That's not what was asked of me. And even if I had to, I don't think someone who can't explain himself should have his secrets revealed to everyone.
Some things are better left unsaid.
For the record, I know what Wolfgang's blackmail says, but it didn't change my outlook on him. I don't think it's possible for anyone to hate someone like Wolfgang. He was always brave in the face of sheer adversity, and encouraged everyone else to act likewise. Wolfgang challenged me to be a better person. Wolfgang challenged all of us to be better people. And maybe Ava simply couldn't rise to his challenge.
Don't listen to him! He's trying to divert everyone from the truth.
Even though Wolfgang and I didn't always see eye to eye, my respect for him and his talent never wavered. Why would someone like me harm him? Me, who's been leading this trial much the same way he led the one before. I may have questioned the idea no one here would kill, but that doesn't make me someone who wants to see bloodshed.
He does! He does want bloodshed! We have all the proof he's a cold-blooded killer! Wolfgang's blackmail, which he lied about having!
But wasn't Damon playing?
Nothing he says should be trusted. Nothing he says about me, or anything else.
It is odd that we place faith in a man who does not have faith in us. So much so, these discussions are mostly led by his own conjecture.
Damon isn't the killer, though. Why would he try to mislead anyone? Like, he and I were playing a game when the murder happened, and multiple people can vouch for us.
Not to mention, the things he's been saying make a lot of sense.
Truth has no personal alliance. That's why.
Even if he wasn't here, we'd arrive at the same conclusion anyway.
Depends who you mean by we.
Then, you all still think I'm the killer?
Someone needs to be voted by the end of this.
Don't just say it like that!
'Tis true.
Ouch! My ears!
How would I know? How would I know when to drop it?
Drop what?
The battery! Damon says the killer dropped the battery when Diana was already in the boiler room. But how would I know when Diana was in the boiler room? It's not as if I could listen out for her. The music speakers are too loud. And the dining hall has no clocks, so it'd be impossible for me to know if it was 8:45 a.m.
Right. Only Mark's DJ pad had a clock.
Are you sure about that?
Maybe Ava asked Mark for the time.
She never spoke to me.
We never spoke! I never even got up from my chair! Besides, how could I be sure Diana arrived on time anyway? If you can't explain how I knew when to drop the battery, then shut up and stop accusing me!
He even makes a decent point. How did she drop the battery in time? Did she just rely on chance? No, that doesn't seem likely. Her entire plan fails if the timing isn't right. Come on, think. If my years of debate have taught me anything, I need to look at this from another angle. If I just take it from the top, while assuming Eva is the killer...
I got it.
The only way the killer would have known when to spring their trap was by seeing Diana enter the room. Any uncertainty would ruin the plan, and the dining hall was too loud to hear anything over.
Where did she watch Diana from? There are only two possible places.
Trying to look into the boiler room through the vent is impossible.
This is it. It's impossible to see anything from the vent, which means the only way anyone could see into the room was by using the school cameras.
Say what?
I don't understand how, but Ava must have used the camera.
Is she working with the kidnappers?
Are you kidding me? How the hell would I have access to the camera?
In order to actually see what was happening on the security cameras, what would even need access to? Naturally, it would have to be some sort of screen. A screen, huh? Thinking back on all the various clues we've discussed, I can't pinpoint anything which could provide an answer to that question. I can. Huh, feels like déjà vu, doesn't it? When all other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards the one that still remains. The one thing we've yet to discuss. Eva, it's time I bring an end to what you've started. For better or for worse, this one will be your final lie. Argument, altercation. Spacebar and F. Okay. WSD to move, spacebar to fire noise, focus by pressing left shift. I got it. Hopefully.
It's Damon who's suspicious. Why would I kill anyone? This isn't fair. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. It's Damon who's suspicious. It's Damon who's suspicious.
Wow.
Why would I kill anyone? I didn't see anything. Who cares about the camera? I just wanted to help. This isn't fair. This isn't fair. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. I didn't see anything. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. This isn't fair. I thought you trusted me. It's Damon who's suspicious.
Whoa.
I didn't see anything. Why would I kill anyone?
Okay. That's
Who
a lot of
cares about
bullets.
the camera? I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything.
And a miss.
Why would I kill anyone? This isn't fair. I just wanted to help. I didn't. This isn't fair. It's Damon who's suspicious. I just wanted to help. Why would I kill anyone? Who cares about the camera? I told you so.
Okay.
How could I access the security camera?
Oop, wrong.
Why would I kill anyone? just the security camera.
It's over. Ava, we know the truth.
No! Don't kill me!
What you said was true, Ava. Whether or not the trap works depends on if the killer can see inside the boiler room. Which begs the question, how does the killer see inside? They can't just get on their knees and peek through the vent. Everyone in the dining hall would notice. Besides, the vent probably offers very little in the way of an actual view of the room.
Exactly! It's impossible!
Right. It's impossible. From this particular angle. If I switch perspectives, your entire argument comes completely undone.
What do you mean?
Ava assumes I'm taking only one factor into account. Her position at the time of Wolfgang's murder. Little does she know that in ruling out that factor, she's led me straight to another. A certain item which could have granted her the ability to see inside the boiler room. An item that, like the chemical smell, only makes sense when all other options have been ruled out. The game console she brought with her to the tournament!
Ava had a game console?
She wanted to get in the spirit of the tournament without being directly involved. Or so she claimed. But when every other option has been ruled out, what else can we look to but the one that's yet to be addressed?
Are you saying she saw inside the boiler room using the console?
So it played live footage of the room?
Sounds like a stretch.
If I'm wrong, Ava should be able to prove her innocence. Go on, Ava. Show us the console.
Huh?
I don't think she has the console on her, dude.
She has to. She never had an opportunity to slink away and dispose of it.
What about the blackout?
When the blackout first hit, people were disorientated for about a minute at most. Ava likely spent those 60 seconds undoing the cord and moving the chair. Between then and now, she's never been alone. The only exception was when she and I split up to investigate the dining hall and the dorms respectively. However, the laundry room, dining hall, and courtyard all had people in them, so I doubt she hid the console in any of those rooms. And the janitor closet? That room has been locked for days now. She obviously couldn't hide the console there. Which means, it must still be on her person. Like I said earlier, if I'm wrong about the console, you can take it out right now and show everyone its contents.
What are you waiting for? Quit hiding the stupid thing and show it!
You're just trying to make me look bad. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just jealous of me. You're jealous of me and my talent. That's all you are. Jealous.
Hey, calm down.
Why not just pull out the console?
Yes! Show us the console and then you'll be done with this!
No! Eh? I don't have to show anyone anything.
That's the most suspicious thing you could say.
It's not suspicious. I'm telling the truth.
That's obviously a lie.
Why go through the effort of mentioning Wolfgang's blackmail if you won't reveal this?
Now that I think back on it, Ava had been staring at her console the entire tournament. I thought it was weird, coming all the way over to the dining hall when she could have just stayed in her dorm.
Well, where did she obtain this console? We should discuss those details before continuing any more with these accusations.
She said she won it from Tozu's gachapon.
Seems natural he would stock that machine with dangerous items. With this being a killing game and all.
Between 14 impossible culprits and one possible killer, there's no need to sort out the facts further. Ava, you're the only one we can vote for.
That's such twisted logic. You're going to vote for me without being completely sure I'm even guilty?
There's no need to be completely sure, if no one else can be suspected.
In case anyone still doubts Ava is the killer, I'll go through the case one last time. And once all the pieces are laid out for everyone to see, I'll prove she's the killer, once and for all.
Let's do this thing. What have we got? Closing the vent. The blackout. Okay, closing the vent is here. Letters from the killer. Really going one at a time, huh? Laser. And there we go.
This is how it happened.
This case was directly incited by the motive Tozu introduced, in which everyone here received another person's blackmail. Amidst the chaos that spawned, the killer saw an opportunity to commit a murder. They sent letters to two people, Wolfgang Akide, who they planned to kill, and Diana Venezia, who they planned to frame. Wolfgang and Diana were asked to meet in the boiler room in 2 days' time. Wolfgang's letter told him to arrive at 8:15 a.m., while Diana's told her to arrive at 8:45 a.m.
The messages threatened to expose our blackmail, so we had no choice but to follow their instructions.
At this point, the killer probably knew the way they were going to kill Wolfgang. Hence, how they reacted to this next piece of information. The following morning, it was revealed that Cassidy and Jet were going to hold a game tournament.
The point was for people to spend time together and not think murdery thoughts. But little did we know, a would-be killer was lurking nearby. And how? The killer emboldened their own plans and made it so the tournament would happen at 9 a.m.
And how?
Did you disagree with yourself?
Both Wolfgang and Diana turned down the offer, which must have been music to the killer's ears, since it confirmed their plan was working. The killer took this as a sign to commence the next phase of their plan. Later that evening, they went downstairs to the boiler room and began preparing the murder weapon.
Though it might be more accurate to call it a murder mechanism. The killer wrapped an extension cord as tightly as they could around a car battery, which had been stolen from Jet's room. I imagine the battery must have been sitting on top of the generator. Wouldn't want to risk an explosion by bringing lithium too close to the water.
The killer avoided opening the boiler room vent for this segment, probably because they knew I'd remember it being closed originally.
A crucial part of the killer's plan would involve sliding the cord through the boiler room vent and out the other end into the dining hall. So they could then walk upstairs to the dining hall and tie the protruding part of the cord to the dining hall vent.
Funnily enough, the killer was going to be needed in the dining hall very shortly.
Yeah, to help Cass and me rearrange the dining hall's furniture. We were saving the whole thing for next morning, but they convinced us to do it that night instead.
Their intentions were threefold. Create an alibi, hide the vent with a piece of furniture, and then open the vent in secret. After which, they'd return to the boiler room and suspend the battery over the generator.
Which brings us to today. Knowing better than to head downstairs without protection, Wolfgang went to the kitchen and armed himself with a knife. Toshiko didn't notice a knife on him when the two met in the hallway, so he must have hidden it in his blazer.
Wolfgang arrived inside the boiler room at 8:15 a.m., exactly like his letter requested. As he was waiting, the killer snuck up behind him.
And he got smacked right in the head with that steel rolling pin and crumpled like paper.
A syringe was then used to inject Wolfgang with a sleeping drug, ensuring he would remain in the boiler room until Diana arrived.
The killer might have, left the taser on the floor around this time.
Yeah, the taser they swiped from my dorm. They must have decided to raid the place after receiving my blackmail. If I'd heard about the taser sooner, I could have gotten rid of it, as well as whatever else my blackmail supposedly mentions.
Save the angsting for later, will you?
Anyway, back on topic. Wolfgang was left to lie in the partially flooded area of the boiler room, while the killer ran upstairs to help set up Mark's music equipment.
They didn't care about the equipment. They just wanted to put a speaker next to the vent, because it would drown out the fight which was going to happen later.
Don't forget the digital clock! They wanted to get there before that became available. Don't need people knowing what time you actually arrived.
My letter said to meet at 8:45 a.m., so that's when I got to the boiler room. I made sure to close the door behind me, just as the message told me to.
Bad idea. Killer flipped the doorknob so that the lock was on the outside instead of the inside. You locked yourself in!
The room was really dark too. I didn't even see the suspended battery, only the blinking security camera. He got up on his feet all of a sudden, and he started crying and saying these weird things. I tried to keep him calm and asked him to come over to me, which he actually did. But the very next second, he attacked me with his knife.
The drugs probably gave him a frightening hallucination, and he perceived you as a threat.
He was screaming at me, and I was screaming back. No one from the tournament could hear us over the music. At one point, I even picked up the taser, but then I threw it back down again.
And that's when the killer decided it was time. Having set their chair to recline, they were able to casually reach down and close the vent behind them. This lowered the extension cord, causing the car battery to enter the water and discharge a huge amount of electricity. Wolfgang, who was still standing in the water, was electrocuted instantly. The battery itself exploded upon reacting with the water, which the killer was likely banking on as a way to destroy evidence. All of this happened right under my nose. No one could have guessed that someone present at the tournament was committing murder.
The explosion also damaged the generator and caused the blackout. Everyone ended up stumbling around in the dark.
Not for long, though. We quickly came back to our senses and agreed to look for a backup generator on the underground floor.
I used a hairpin to unlock the boiler room door and ran outside, but you guys had already made it downstairs.
That's when you say you ducked around a corner and out of sight. Only after everyone went inside the closets did you then dash upstairs.
It's a good thing she did. Otherwise, we'd have found her alone in a room with Wolfgang's dead body. We would have wrongly assumed Diana was the killer, and died as a result. This complicated scheme calls to mind only one person. One person who just so happened to be sitting in a certain sofa chair. That person is you, Ava Tsunaka. It's over, Ava. We know the truth.
Right. Turns out my original prediction was twice correct. Which means, in this case, it's probably either Wolfgang or Eva. Though, not exactly in the way that I expected. I didn't expect them both to be gone. But we are down not one, but two of the important seeming characters.
It's not fair. This isn't fair. This isn't fair.
My blood is rushing!
Wonderful! Brilliant! Spectacular! You have seen beyond the foul lies of this scorned mathematician and delivered the honourable truth with wit and aplomb.
Well done!
This is worthy of praise. Allow me to reward your success with...
This isn't funny.
Can you shut up? Without Tozu's mad ramblings, the trial room had gone completely silent. Everyone was either staring at the floor or sneaking nervous glances at each other. I understand the reason for this frosty atmosphere. You've found out who done it, so now you wish to know why done it.
Such a spoil sport.
Very well. Every murder mystery needs a motive, and I would be loath to break tradition at this stage.
There must be something.
Eva, why did you do this? Just why?
Come on.
Speak up. You've nothing to lose now. It was Tozu. Huh? Tozu made me do it.
This is...
What?
You...
You've been working with Tozu this entire time?
Such disrespect!
Me and her? Oh, please. If her plan was to secretly infiltrate the killing game, she wouldn't have given herself such an attention-grabbing ultimate title.
Rubbish.
I mean, seriously? Ultimate liar? Talk about on the nose. No, Eva's just as much of a kidnappee as the rest of you.
Son of a bitch!
Shut up! You let her get away with breaking the rules. That's proof enough you're in cahoots.
Holy...
Huh? Eva broke the rules? Yeah, when she blew up school property.
Fuck you!
Why was I punished for chucking a rock at a camera, but Eva wasn't punished for destroying a generator?
Shit.
Is Eva the exception that rule was talking about? What? Esmond tapped the screen of his trinket and conjured a familiar square-shaped hologram. With a few swipes of his finger, he located the killing game's rules. Okay, yeah. Everyone, take a look at the second rule. Students are not allowed to vandalize any official killing game property, such as the cameras and the Tozu trinkets. Exceptions may apply. Devious, Tozu. Devious. Do you see how it says exceptions may apply at the end? Since Eva wasn't punished for breaking the generator, could that mean she counts as an exception?
Stop lying!
Are you going to explain how, or are you just trying to be a contrarian?
This looks bad.
Well, if I had to make a guess, it's probably because Eva destroyed the generator while committing a murder.
What's all this about?
Are you saying Eva has special privileges? I think it's more like her method of murder was what destroyed the generator. Meaning the generator is technically tied to Wolfgang's death.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is why Eva was excused for breaking it.
Slow down.
Yo, that can't actually be the reason, can it?
I see, I see.
And if it were?
You...
I see. Eva believes she could count as an exception to the rule, which is why she didn't take any steps to avoid destroying the generator.
What?
She risked getting shot in the head. That was something she just assumed?
That ain't it.
Nah, with how confidently Eva executed the murder, she must have known for sure she wouldn't be penalised. How about it, Tozu? Did you ever share that information with her?
Who? Me?
A desperate killer is much like a hungry seagull, ready to pounce upon the slightest crumb of sustenance. The mere implication of a loophole ignites their senses, and they, as desperate people always do, will shred their dignity in pursuit of confirmation. So, to answer your question, yes, Eva approached me with the same questions your friends are asking now. And yes, I confirmed her suspicions were true.
Not okay!
Seriously? That's so unfair.
Pathetic.
Unfair? Answering a reasonable question is far from unfair. Have you never asked a professor for help on an assignment? Sure, your professor won't do the work for you. But they'll be happy to clean up any confusion you might have. Then why did Eva say you made her kill Wolfgang? I suppose you would say Eva and I made a deal.
Huh?
A deal? What kind of deal? A deal to begin the killing game.
Impossible!
In exchange for agreeing to perform the first kill, she would receive a special perk.
Plot twist!
The traitor perk.
Holy!
What do you mean, traitor perk? Is it the tablet Eva has? I mean, she refused to show it to us when we asked. Mind you, that a host cannot simply hand over a traitor perk to anyone who asks. For a student to be eligible for a perk, they must first earn it.
That was very...
Well, what do you mean by earn it? Do you recall that little tidbit I shared with you about the pharmacy? You know, the one about a secret lurking inside. You see, a very interesting secret is lurking beyond this door. That secret, were you referring to the traitor perk?
Well done!
Indeed I was! When I said a very interesting secret was lurking inside, I meant that quite literally. The only thing separating you from the perk was a few inches of stainless steel and a pin pad. Pin pad? Oh gosh, you're talking about that big door I found tucked behind a shelf.
I see.
I see, it was hiding the traitor perk all along. How did Eva figure out the password to the pin pad, though? Did she enter a bunch of random numbers until it, finally worked?
Well,
A 4-digit code would have thousands of potential combinations. 10,000, in fact. If you count 0000. Unless Eva encountered unbelievable luck, the chances of her guessing that code in only a few days is extremely unlikely.
How?
Then how did she get access to the traitor perk? The 4 numbers to unlock the pin pad. How did Eva figure them out? There's only one way. Only one way I could see her obtaining the correct answer. It's to do with that poster, isn't it? That mysterious poster in the pharmacy. Yeah? What poster are you?
Well done!
Ding ding ding, correct! Yes, hidden inside one of the pharmacy's rooms is a poster which reveals the code to the pin pad.
For real?
For reals?
No.
How can that poster reveal the code, though? I knew it had to be important somehow. None of the visuals made sense, which is exactly why it caught my attention. But I didn't know what to do with that information. How to decipher what I was seeing.
Pathetic.
And that is where you fell short of your mathematically gifted peer. With her keen eyesight and quick thinking, she saw the poster for what it really was.
Plot twist!
An equation! What? Every detail is deceitful. Those exclamations of grandeur may in fact be hints towards a certain something's nature, and that large star a stand-in for a coordinate plane Well, not that it matters anymore. The passcode to that precious pin pad is, after all, being changed as we speak. To quote the words of my parents' parents' parents, the road to freedom must always be paved with obstacles.
Heckin' twisted!
No way, a math equation is totally up Eva's alley. Eva, you told me you couldn't understand the poster.
Why the long face?
Of course she did. That equation is the key to the traitor perk. Handing it over would mean handing the perk over.
Shit.
So the traitor perk was Eva's reward for solving the puzzle.
Anybody?
The heck even is the perk? Still haven't explained that yet.
Who? Me?
I assure you it's a very handy thing to have. You see, this traitor perk allows the owner to access the school's security cameras using a tablet. A tablet, of course, being on Eva's person right now.
Damn it!
So I was right. You accessed the camera in the boiler room, which was how you saw Diana enter.
Oh, crud!
I thought it was weird Eva wouldn't show us the tablet, but I didn't think it was actually wired to the school cameras.
But then...
Then the reason I saw the security camera's light blinking back in the boiler room, it's because Eva was watching me.
What?
Yeah? This is making too much sense!
Nonsense!
Eva, how could you negotiate with your kidnapper? Why do you have any reason to trust him? I had no choice. Eh? I either take his deal and give myself a chance to escape, or I would die here with the rest of you.
You...
That selfish attitude is the reason why we've ended up in this mess. Didn't we promise to make it out of here together? If you hadn't murdered one of the only people who could have handled this situation, we might have made progress on escaping.
Hang on.
Even if I didn't kill, someone else would have eventually. And if they were in my position right now, they wouldn't even admit to what they'd done. They'd cry and snivel and try and guilt you. They wouldn't be honest like me.
Watch it.
Honest or not, playing Tozu's game was risky. You were trapped in a small space with witnesses everywhere. It's not a gamble you should have taken.
What a joke.
We had food, we had shelter. All we had left to do was wait for our eventual rescue from this place. But I...
Stop it!
I would have died first. It was obvious from what was happening with Wolfgang. His constant jeering at me over the few mistakes I'd make, while the rest of you followed his lead. If a class trial ever happened with him around, he would have accused me of being the killer even without evidence. And you all would have believed him.
Whoa!
That's not...
Shut up!
Because of Wolfgang, I was isolated from everyone else. He turned me into an easy target for murder. And if I was murdered, would the rest of you even bother to find out who killed me? There's no way you would. There's no way anyone would. You're all the worst. I hope you all rot here.
Bro?
That's cold, man.
You really let me down.
Even if we had some rough spots, some of us still tried to get along with you. During the gaming tournament, I was fine with you joining.
Ugh.
You think a few games were enough to forgive everything you did to me? None of you actually care about me. None of you. I've never been anything to anyone.
Huh?
What do you mean? It really is the same in here as it is out there. I'm always the one that people hated. I didn't choose this talent. I was just doing what others wanted me to do. I was the prodigy student the adults wanted me to be. I thought I did everything right. But I still kept being judged. Everyone else around me resented me, hated me, because they wanted the love I received. Or what they thought was love. And despite all my hard work, the UTP turned me into something I never wanted to be. Even if I wanted to return to normality, it would be impossible. I'm stuck with this talent for life. Now, when I try to become something more than a sad joke, I get hit with the realization that all my efforts were for nothing. I never could be anyone else. I'll never get what I deserve. But I cared.
I don't understand.
Eva, I cared about you. I don't get it.
Why?
Eva, why did you frame me? I cared for you, and stood up for you whenever I could.
Don't say that!
I wanted to be your roommate. I wanted to help you.
I don't want to.
I didn't mean anything. Why? You still agreed with everything Wolfgang said. No matter what he did to me, you kept on supporting him. Is that why you tried to frame me for his murder? Yeah, and you deserved it.
No.
Diana let out a sob and nearly fell onto her podium. Diana. Eloise ran over to Diana and put an arm around her shoulder.
How can you believe that?
Why did you have to kill Wolfgang in front of her? That's so cruel. She obviously knew what she was doing. Both the cause and time of death were mentioned in the mock trial case. So it stands to reason they would be mentioned here too. When Eva realised that, she tried to leverage it against us. I'm sure receiving that little camera perk made it all too easy to time the murder.
Shut it!
Enough of this already. So Eva's a privileged little who thinks her life sucks. Who cares?
Fuck you!
You took Wolfgang's life. The only thing you deserve is some comeuppance.
Sheesh.
I doubt she's actually telling the truth. Murdering someone because they lied about their inoffensive talent. Even she must know how ridiculous that sounds.
How can that be?
If Eva didn't call Wolfgang because she was scared, then why did she kill him?
Honestly?
Why else but to escape the killing game? I doubt any of us were ever a threat to her. In fact, it was probably the complete opposite.
Shocking.
She thought she was smarter and better than all of us. That's why she thought she could win the class trial.
My thoughts exactly.
Yes, I agree with Winona. In that case, do you reckon Eva killed Wolfgang because of his abilities as a lawyer? She herself admitted she would have suspected her. He would have suspected her if he was here. Clearly Wolfgang was the best person to kill if she wanted to escape. I did say that at the time.
Nope.
And anyway, Eva isn't the only one who's vulnerable. There are people here with even weaker bodies and weaker minds. Anyone who is looking for an easy kill would know to target them first. It doesn't matter. Even if no one targeted me, I would still have died first. How so? Because of the perk. Huh? Tozy told me that if I didn't use the perk to murder someone as soon as possible, I was going to die.
What did you say?
Well, what?
Nonsense!
Is this true, Tozy?
Who? Me?
Guilty as charged.
Dude, no!
Tozy never told me the number of days I had left, just that I needed to kill soon. If I didn't kill soon, I'd die.
This isn't fair!
I had to do something. You can't blame me for that. If you were in my shoes, you would have all done the same.
Worthless.
It's your own fault. You're only in that situation because you took the perk.
No!
Tozy targeted me with the math puzzle. He offered me the perk when I was at my lowest point. If you guys were approached the way I was and offered a chance to go home, you would have taken the perk too.
Stop it!
You're just a bunch of hypocrites. You just want to make me look like the villain so you feel less bad about killing me. Killing her? That's right. How could I forget? If the blackened is uncovered...
Dumbass!
Ugh, enough already. I'm sick of talking to this person. Get on with the execution, will you? Alright, this soap opera is entertaining, but I realise it's time to change the channel. Wait, don't tell me you're actually going to...
Holy!
All of a sudden, the elevator behind us began to churn alive. The whir of machinery could be heard from the other side of the doors, raw and loud and rhythmic like a mechanical symphony.
The show must go on.
Do not avert your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. I hear a lot of the budget went into this. No, I don't. Well, what's going on?
believe. I won't believe.
This isn't happening. This isn't happening.
Blood is rushing.
To the victor go the spoils. Hail the honourable dead, avenged at last. I don't deserve this. Even if you hate me, I don't deserve this. May our charitable justice inspire fear and humility within these wretched souls.
Don't kill me!
This isn't fair. I don't deserve to die. I deserve to live. I deserve to live. And stir the hearts and minds of all those bearing witness. Ready, everyone? Let the show begin.
I want to live. I deserve to live. I'm going to live. I'm going to live!
My entire body had seized up. I couldn't move a single limb, couldn't say a single word. All I could do was stand and stare, my mind at a complete and total loss.
There's no way.
So, that's what punishment entails? Let me go home. Please let me go home.
Isn't this lovely?
Goodness, talk about a heated moment. I see what you did there. I don't like it. Eva put up quite a fight. For a second there, she almost had me believing you had underestimated her.
Moving on.
Just kidding.
I'll be damned.
How can you do this? Forcing these innocent people to kill each other.
Terrible.
So
Just
judgmental.
terrible.
Need I remind you that this is student-on-student warfare?
Get out.
Just shut up already. Eva, why? You just needed a friend. I could have been the friend you needed. Why did you do this?
I can't believe it.
I think I'm gonna be sick. I don't even know what I'm feeling anymore. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Oh, shit!
I'm totally gonna die here, aren't I?
I can't be like this.
No one else is gonna die, you hear? We're all gonna be okay. Okay, come on, repeat it after me. I'm here and I'm okay. I'm here and I'm okay. I'm here and I'm okay. This was my reality. The fear of death had already been heavy on my shoulders ever since the killing game was announced. But now it had completely enveloped me. I can't do it. I can't lie to myself again. Again?
It's all my fault.
I'm not okay. I'm never going to be okay. I could have changed things. I could have saved her. And him. Wolfgang. If I'd just dragged him out of the water, I could have saved him. Why didn't I save him?
Whoa!
Diana, you had no way of knowing what was going to come next. He was wielding a knife, too. Anyone would have done what you did. Did he really bring a knife for self-defense? Usually a comment like that would have gotten a rise out of Grace, but she stayed completely silent. I can't let it end. Wolfgang's kindness, I can't let anyone forget it.
It is how it is.
That goes without saying. I'm sure everyone remember what Wolfgang did for us. I've never thought of the lengths my talent can go. The ability to change others' appearances, to be the best version of themselves. It's always been someone else who sits in front of the mirror. I never really put myself in that place. Diana? You okay? If I can't save Wolfgang, then at the very least...
I can do this.
Maybe I can live for him.
Believe me.
You didn't do anything wrong, Diana.
Pardon me.
Yeah. I can do this. I can fulfill the life he wasn't able to live. Huh?
Like a chameleon, I will adapt. I'll follow in Wolfgang's footsteps and continue what he wasn't able to accomplish. I'll become something new.
Tears running down Diana's face, but her expression... Somehow she looked determined. I couldn't understand it. Despite everything she's been through, here she was making some silly vow about continuing Wolfgang's legacy. Acting like she's a hero from a storybook. Has this girl lost her mind?
Hold on.
Wolfgang and Eva, neither of them deserved this. I won't let what happened to them happen to anyone else here.
We won't back down.
For both their sakes, I'll save everyone from the killing game.
You've got to be kidding me.
Take this seriously, will you?
What?
Can this get any worse?
It seems your peers aren't much in the mood for heroic monologues.
Moving on.
Anyhow, it's been a long day. The crime scene has already been cleaned up, unless you have any further questions for me. You are all free to return to your dorms.
Mm-hmm.
So, any further questions?
Get lost.
Ingrates.
Huh. Now where have I heard that one before? In all seriousness, I'll take that as a no.
Good evening.
Until next time, everyone. Just like last time, Tozu walked over to the throne.
Isn't this lovely?
By the way, you're safe to ride the elevator back up. You've set it back to its default mode. What you glimpsed before was simply its punishment mode. On that ominous note, he was lowered underground. Hey, guys, should we just go back to our rooms? Aye, it's about time we draw this day to a close. Good idea. People silently made their way to the elevator, horror and despair etched on their faces. It was clear today's events would not be easily forgotten. And then there was me. Everything I'd been ruminating over. Devastating images which had been plaguing my mind. Wolfgang's murder. The trial. Eva, dying right in front of me, swallowed by a pit of fire. It all retreated to the corners of my mind. The only thing I could focus on now were those 5 words. I'll follow in Wolfgang's footsteps. Hearing those words come from Diana, after everything that's happened, seeing her raise her chin and act so tall and proud just like Wolfgang once did, it pissed me off. Not sure why I'm bothering to save, because and then there was no more. That is it. That is the game, at least for now. Chapter 2 will, with any luck, be out in time. What a fantastic game. That was very, very good. It was extremely good. I very much enjoyed. The production quality is fantastic. The case was good. As I alluded to, it followed the trope. Nevertheless, I did not see the culprit coming. Yeah.